essentially the parties still come down to the idea that it's the United States and the Taliban. And one thing we have to remember is that in general, the feeling was that this was going to be a bad deal. That this was not a deal for the Afghan people in any way. Obviously, the way Trump went about it, the way Democrats and Republicans are arguing about it is very detached from reality. But the reality on the ground is that most people felt like this would have been a bad deal anyways. Obviously, a deal needs to be made, but the question is always, how is a deal being made? Who is being involved and what is being discussed? And as long as these deals are being made in foreign capitals behind closed doors without, I say even if the Afghan government gets involved, it's still not enough. You still need, there's 32 million people that will suffer the consequences or see the benefits of whatever agreement is made. So you still need to make sure that there are young people involved, that there are women involved, that there are different ethnicities involved, that there are different religious sects involved, that everybody has some kind of a say in these negotiations. These kinds of negotiations need to happen because it's become very clear that this war won't be won on the battlefield, but they need to happen in a proper way, right? They need to happen correctly. Right now, there are a lot of supporters of the president and this government very happy that this deal went down in flames because it ensures that an election will happen, which they feel like they'll win. But it hinges on this assumption that this war can be won on the battlefield, which, again, we've proven time and time again, unfortunately, is not true. A deal has to be made, but it can't be just any deal as well.
Kathy Kelly, you are a longtime peace activist on the ground. You have gone to Afghanistan countless times where you are right now. What is the understanding of peace activists on the ground? What are they calling for? And also, in the last days, the reports we had, the New York Times reporting the White House was seriously considering expanding the CIA's presence in Afghanistan if and when international forces begin to leave the country, U.S. forces. As senior White House advisors seeking to expand the CIA's presence, the CIA presence would include the creation of new counterterrorism militia forces, but the CIA Director Gina Haspel reportedly has raised concerns about the idea. The Taliban has said the CIA must also leave Afghanistan along with the military.
Well, and we might add also that since President Trump took office, there's been a 65% increase in private security contractors in Afghanistan being paid by the United States. There's a lot of skepticism on the part of young peace activists whom I know. They don't any longer expect that negotiators are going to help them have a more secure future. They tell us about others in their classes who can't possibly find jobs, and so for the sake of an income, enlist in one militia or another. And they now even begin to wonder themselves if their own fellow students will begin to urge taking up weapons. But I've been impressed by the commitment to try to solve problems without resorting to war on the part of people who are living in a war-torn area and have been deeply traumatized by events of the past year. So many of them have their own friends now only as memories. The loss of life has been staggering. So I don't think that the United States is showing much concern for people on the verge of civil war because of the possible consequences of the deal-making.
Like Greta Thunberg had said regarding the climate crisis we have in the world, in the past 14 years, I've seen how this crisis in Afghanistan, in the war, means that there is, seems to show that there's no current political system anywhere that can really hold genuine peace negotiations. I mean, these current peace negotiations, to me, are not genuine peace negotiations because Afghans are not involved. The warring parties are all equally complicit in the killing. They want to fight and talk at the same time, which doesn't work. And the Taliban in Doha are not representative of either the Afghan people or even of the Taliban.